Good morning and welcome to another one of my 1 hour builds. This time we're gonna do another rock, paper, scissors game, also in Elixir, also with Livebook. In short, we go again. See if we can get a bit further. So, um, 1 hour build. Now what I'd like to do this time is see if we can get into some real multiplayer. But let's take it step by step. We are going to need a new module for our game. And this is going to be the core of everything. And this is going to be a gen server because we want to save state and listen to events. So we can add some boilerplate for the gen server so that it can be started, which means we need a start link function that takes one argument, which we don't care about, and then it runs gen server start link and starts this module with np_array as an argument and explicitly set the name to this module. So there will never be more than one of these, and then we need to enter, and we can define an init function that takes an argument we don't care about, and it returns OK and an empty map for now. This should be enough for us to start our process. Now, last time I had some issues with starting and stopping gen servers and making sure that they correctly change when I update my source code. But I found out that there is a function in Kino, which I haven't installed yet. But Kino has a start child, which gracefully handles everything else. So we're going to do that. Let's add Kino. And okay, that's installed. And do Kino.startChild. And we need a child spec, which is going to be the name of our module, and a argument to pass to the init function, which is fine. And then I'm going to set this to reevaluate automatically. Creates a PID. So now if we put a log here, and I'll put starting game, reevaluate that, and it starts the game. Cool. Okay, so let's get rid of that. We don't need that. Now, the other thing that would be quite nice is to have some basic display functionalities from the very start. And for this, we're going to use a frame. I would like the game not to know or care about the frame in order to maintain separation of responsibilities. So I'm going to introduce a essentially a pub sub mechanism. F module. In fact, I wonder if we can use Phoenix pub sub. X.pm. Oh, no, not that one, that one. Oh, it's here, isn't it? Or is it a separate package? It might be a separate package. PubSub, is that part of Phoenix? No. Sure it's here. It's not. Do we not have it? It doesn't matter, we can write our own simple implementation anyway. We call it an event stream. And it's going to be a gen server. And in fact, we can basically copy all of this here and that. And what are we going to have here? We are going to have a we're going to have a list of topics, and we are going to have subscribers for each of those topics. So topics, and that is going to be a map. And inside that map, we will have a key, which is the topic name, and we will have the subscribers as an array, which will be an array of process IDs that we notify. So we can start, for example, with a catch-all topic and give it an empty array because we have no subscribers right now. And then we want to start the event stream, and we want to make sure we start it first again as well, so that's available to use by the game. Start child, event stream, and again empty array. Don't really care about the okay, right. And the final thing we need is a frame and a manager for that frame. That's going to wire up the messages to output. And in fact, it's just going to be another gen server, basically the same thing, but we're just going to rename it. It's going to be a frame manager. And we are going to have a list here, a map of frames. And actually, that's just going to be a list, an empty list of frames. We are going to initialize it with a frame. In fact, let's keep this as a map that just has the frame in it for now. I don't want to have to mess about with indexing into a list, at least not right now, while we've got a single frame. So we have an event stream. The reason we're passing the frame here is because the frame itself has some initialization functionality that can cause issues, can cause an infinite loop if we try to start it inside the init function of a gen server. So we need to create the frame and pass it to the frame manager. We can create the frame here. Dot frame dot new, and then you can actually set this to placeholder false for now. Do keynote.startChild, and it can be frame manager with the frame as its first argument. Okay, so now we can start wiring things up. The first thing we need to see if things are working is a function here, which will allow us to, what do we want the frame to do? We want the frame manager to subscribe to event from the event stream, and we can actually do that in our init function. We need to subscribe the event stream, subscribe, and we're going to send it our own PID, and we are going to subscribe to just, what shall we call it? Let's call it a commentary channel, or just log for now. And obviously this function doesn't exist yet, so we need to create a subscribe function on the event stream. So def subscribe, and that is going to take a PID, and it's going to take a topic. Now we're going to have two cases here. One when we're subscribing to an existing topic, another one where we're creating the topic. So we can do, but either way, actually, this we're not going to have two cases here because this is the public interface. We need to actually talk to the gen server. So we're going to do a gen server, and we're going to do call here. Just because we don't want to try to subscribe to a gen server that hasn't started, and cast will not error if it will just send a message, and if the process doesn't exist, then we'll get lost. So we are going to call ourselves, and our request is going to be subscribe, and we are going to forward our PID and the topic. And then over here, we can do an implementation. We're going to do def handle call. And handle call takes your payload. So that's going to be subscribe. We match on the subscribe atom that we sent first, and then we capture the PID and the topic. And then it needs a from address, which we don't care about, and it takes the state as well as a parameter. Now it must always return, I believe it must return a reply, because otherwise we get a timeout from the gen server call. But this can just be an OK reply, and we're going to forward the state here. Now this is where we want to check if we have a matching topic, and if we do, we add the PID to the list of subscribers for that topic. Otherwise, we create a new topic and then add the PID. And all of that needs to then be saved in state. So what we can do is we can do do we pass the state? Yes, we can have a new subscribe. I wonder if it's a new, whether this can be made private. Let's see what happens. So we can do subscribe. The state's going to be the first argument, and then the PID and the topic's going to go next. And this will need to be a new function. I wonder if it can be def p, and that will be subscribe with 3 arguments, and that will be state PID topic. And what it will do is we can extract topics from here, actually. Topics, so we can have access to it directly, and we can do a case map.ASCII topic topics, and the key needs to be topic, and then we say if it's true, then we can do so we need to save here the output as topic, as new topics array map. And what we can do here is we can just update the map if it's got the topic. So we can do topics, and then we can have topic. That's going to be no, because we need to add to that array. Okay, that's fine. We can do map.update. Update topics map, and we are going to take the key is going to be the topic, and then we're going to pass a function that takes a subscribers array list actually. And what we're going to do is we're going to simply add we're going to prepend our new PID to the list of subscribers. And similarly here, if it's false, what we need to do is, first of all, we need to map dot put new, and we'll add a new key to topics. New key to topics. The key is going to be the new topic, and the value is going to be an array with just our new PID in there. And now we need to return an updated state, which is going to be state, and topics is going to be our updated topics map. So that should add the subscriber to to our list of topic subscribers with the correct topic. Now, what would be very useful is if we add one more function here for debugging purposes, and we can do def handle call, and this is going to be a state, and it'll take the same from and state, and it'll do reply with state and leave the state unchanged. And then we can have here a def state, no arguments, to genserver.call state. And this will allow us to check that the state has been updated correctly. What does it not like? Oh, we need to call our module. There we go. Okay, that's all right. So we can do. So at this point, the frame manager should have tried to subscribe after the event stream was created. So if we get the event stream state, we should see one subscriber to the, we've got a subscriber to the log. Now what we want to do is provide a function that allows us to push to that log, and a way of outputting that log to the frame. So we can add a new function here, and that can be def broadcast, and we're gonna need a topic, and we're gonna need a message, and they can be anything, and that will do a genserver.call to ourselves, and it will say broadcast topic message. And then we're gonna, I believe actually we don't need input true for every clause of this handle call because it's the same function, so it should be okay. But this will be broadcast topic message, and it will have we'll have a state, and then we can do, what do we want to do? We definitely want to reply, and we'll reply with an OK, and we'll reply with our state. I don't think we change our state at all in this case, but what we do is we need to loop through all the subscribers to that topic and send a message to each of them. So we need to first of all let's check. We need to check if the topic exists. So we can do case, and we can do map.hasKey. We can actually unpack this a little bit. So we know that we will have a topics in the map. Now we can check if the topics map has the topic key. If it's true, then we loop through. So we do map.get, and that will be our topics map, and when we get our topic key, and then we can pipe that into enum.map, and we can run a function that takes a PID and does a send to the PID, and the message will be, now we include the topic here because it's feasible that a consumer might want to subscribe to more than one topic, but they'll only have a handle info. So we can do we want to include a broadcast key? Yeah, probably, just for good. Message. And let's have a look. Do we need anything else? I think that's it. We need to handle the false case. And if it's false, we actually don't need to do anything. Just return OK. If there's no subscribers to a given topic, or the topic doesn't exist, then there's no point us trying to send anything. Okay, so when we run this, if we broadcast to the topic that the frame is subscribed to, we will probably get an error because the frame isn't listening to it. Oh, I'm missing a terminator. Oh yeah. We need to terminate here, send at and end. No. There. That's it. Okay, let's run that. The state is the same, and then if we go here and we do event stream dot broadcast, and we're going to broadcast to the log topic, and we're going to say test. We get an OK, but the frame manager received an unexpected message. Great, which is exactly what we want. So now we can implement a handle info on the frame manager. And it'll be def handle info, and it will have we'll get this broadcast message, and we'll get topic, and we will get a message. We don't get from because it's just handle info, but we do get our state, which we're saving. So what we can do is we can see our topic message tuple, and we can debug it. And we need to return no reply. This is part of the contract, of the gen server contract. So we return our state and we return our no reply. And this should be enough to see that it's correctly receiving the messages. Run that, and when we run this, yay, cool, awesome. So we get that. Now, what we would like to do with that message is to format it in a nice way and output it to the frame. I think in this case we don't really care about the topic because we're only dealing with log messages for now. But what we want to do is, let's grab the frame out of our state. And we are going to do frame and pass that into keynote.frame.append, and we are going to append a nice keynote.markdown.new, and let's put our message in there. Now we can improve on this, but it should be enough to give us some output capabilities. Okay, because the frame is not rendered, I think actually we can render our frame right at the start here. And we can do keynote render frame. Make sure we restart these states there. There we go, so we've got a test message. Send test 2, we've got test 2, and we can keep sending it and we'll keep getting messages, which is good enough for now. So we have a way of outputting, we have a way of routing messages through the system, and now we actually need to get on with our game because we've done a lot of wiring up, but hopefully that will serve us well. So we need a way for players to join our game. So we can do def join, and then we can do a player, and this will be a gen server call. And we will call to ourselves, and we will say join, and it will be the player name. And then we need to implement that handle. So implement def handle call, and we are going to get join and player, and we're going to get from that we don't care about, and we're going to get our current state, and we're going to reply with OK and our new state, which in this case is the same unmodified state, but we are going to actually need to modify that state. So what we're going to do is add player, and we're going to have the player there, and then we can do def p add player, which takes state and the new player, and we are going to return the state. We need to extract from here. Do we have, oh, we don't have a players array here, so we should have a players array. No, for now, I think it can just be an array. I suspect we'll want to change that as we start implementing things, but for now, we can have it as that. Uh, so, in fact, what we can do here, we can do a map.update, just put state into it. And we're going to update the player's key, and we are going to use a function that takes a list, and we're going to take our player and stick them at the head of the list, and that will return the state, which will do that. That should be okay. Let's start complaining about. Keep forgetting the terminators at this today. Okay, so that will add that. I'm going to copy here our this function just so I can check. In fact, I don't need to. Because what I can do is when we have added a player, I believe we can do with. Is that the correct form? Yeah, so I can do okay. And then I can do event stream dot broadcast. Do we want to broadcast to the log? Yeah, let's broadcast to the log for now. And we can just say player joined, and then we can put in the player name. Let's see if that works. Set that frame. That still works, and then we can do game.join and call add. Interesting. So that never got triggered. Why is that? Um, let's just remove this for now and assume it's going to succeed. Okay, we have a loop. Wow, actually managed to crash live view, live book properly. Wow, onto there. Wow, that is something. Close that. Close session, and let's reopen it. What have I done? What have I done? Let's not have the broadcast for now and see if everything still works. Okay, so without the broadcast, we're okay. Is it because I've sent it a broadcast here is a call? but so it should have a timeout of 5,000, so that should be fine. So let's just say, let's put it as a string. And we'll format it here, which is not what I want to do, but player join the game. Yeah, okay, so I didn't like that it was getting an atom. Okay, we can deal with that. Interestingly, we can join the game more than once with the same player, which is not what we want. So, yeah, we should probably do something about that straight away. How do we do that? We can just search through the list, see if that player already exists, and not add them if it's there. And we can do that in here. So instead of, we can replace all of that. We can do if, and we can do list dot. Do we have a find? Key find, is that key find? What's key find? So we need to find. I'll give us, no. I don't want to have to listen to loop through the whole list. Maybe it's on the enum actually. Enum that contains find. There we go. Do we have something that returns a boolean? Enum dot count. I think it's just going to be the total number. Okay, that's fine. Let's just use enum.find. And we are going to search the list, and we're going to search it for the player. And if we find it, we are going to do nothing for now. It would be nice to conditionally broadcast, which we can. Yeah. So if, let's make that a not, we can then put our player on the list and broadcast this message. And let's see if that works. That still works. First time we run it, and then the second time we get nothing. Why do we get nothing? Ah, okay. So that's why. So we put this in the else block, and because we're in an update here, we do still need to return our list unchanged. Otherwise, we return an atom and everything kind of breaks. Okay. Hmm? I thought we changed this. Oh, because event stream.broadcast returns OK, and that's the last thing we return. Right, joined, and then come on. The function got ed. Why? Find. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we can do a quick function there and do and1 is equal to player. And we can close that there. Okay, there we go. So we can only join the game once. Okay. Right. What else do we need? We should be able to try a new tab. And here, join the game as Bob. And yep, we have Ed and Bob in the game. Which is good. We have the ability to talk between two games. Now we need to actually start the game when we have enough players. So let's get a new function called def start. And it's going to be a gen server call again to ourselves. Feels like this. There should be a shorthand for doing this. And what we're going to do is start. And so we need a new implementation def handle call. In fact, this doesn't even need to be a tuple. It can just be start on its own. From, and we'll get our existing state, and we can do that. We always reply, and what do we reply with? Something, and then we can reply with our state. Now, there are a couple of things we need to check here. We need to check how many players we have. So let's save a result, and we can say if let's grab the players from our state. Players if length of players is greater than 1, then we can return OK else not enough players. Do we need to keep track in the state of whether the game has started. Do we really even care whether the game has started, or do we just start plays? No, we do need to care. Therefore, we need to keep track of the state. So, status. It starts as waiting for players, and then we can do no, we need to update our state here. Yeah, so we can do that. We put that in there, and we can have a new state. Do that, and we add a new state, which is going to be yeah, it can be that state, and then we change status to started. Otherwise, we return not enough players and the state remains unchanged. And then here we return our result. We do probably also want to notify at this point that the game has started. And again, we want to do that above event server stream dot broadcast to the log. We can say game started. That should be enough for now. Joined, and then let's try to do game.start. Not enough players, and then we change that to ed joined, and the game started. Cool. Okay. So what happens in a game? Each player must make a play, and then we decide the game. Now the interesting thing is that if it's a draw, do we automatically replay, or do we not care? Basically, this affects whether we implement the concept of rounds or not. If we don't have rounds, then essentially each game becomes a round. Let's keep it simple for now because we're running low on time, and we can maybe add rounds afterwards. So we can do def play, and this is going to be a player and a choice. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a gen server call to ourselves, and we're going to send play, and we're going to send player, we're going to have to send a choice, and then up here somewhere we're going to do a def handle call, which is play player choice. Don't care who it's from, and we get our state. Right, we always reply with a result, and we can we'll return a state. We are once again going to have multiple states, possible results. Right, so we need to check if the player is a real player and if they've already made a choice, which means we need to keep track of player choices, which we can add to our state. So choices is map, which is going to be an empty map. And what are we going to do? Where are we? We can extract choices from here. Choices. If map.hasKey choices player do, and we're going to say already played, and we're going to return the state unchanged. Otherwise, we are going to say OK, and we're going to do something to the state. What are we going to do? We are going to say we're going to add to our choices array. So choices, we can probably do this in a function here, so we can do state, and then we're going to map.update, and we're going to update the choices key. And we're going to supply a function here, aren't we? Yeah, the key. Okay. So we're going to have a it's going to be a map. And we're going to do choices map, pass that into map.put new, and we are going to put the new key, which is going to be the player, and the value is going to be our choice. And that will come back as the state. And we probably want to, oh, what's going on there? We need an equal here. And we are going to notify at this point as well. Event stream dot broadcast to the log. And we're going to say player has played. We're not going to say what the choice actually was because this is visible to all players. Joined, joined, game is started. Okay, and then we just want a new one here, and we want to say game.play and let's say rock. And we can do here Bob, and let's say it's also rock. Okay, so what we want to do now is get the result in the next 5 minutes, please. Thank you very much. Def, we can do a judge. Doesn't take any arguments, and that's just going to be a do gen server.call to to ourselves, and it's just going to be a judge. So we're going to do def handle call judge. We don't care for who it's from, and we're going to get a state. Okay, we are going to return a reply, and we're going to return a result, and we're going to return a state. Our result and state is going to be conditional on. We need to check that everybody's chosen, so that the length of the choices is the same as the length of the players. So if length of choices, so we're going to need players as well from here actually. And we're going to need to grab map dot values or keys, it doesn't really matter. We can do keys because it's a bit shorter. Is equal to length of players. And this is just checking that everybody's played. If not, we can reply with waiting for choices, and the state becomes unchanged. Otherwise, we reply with otherwise you can actually judge the game, right? So we can have that as a new function. Judge. Okay, so we can do a winning or so we've got a couple of things that we can do here. Actually, let's just get a result. Let's just get a result for the game because we're running out of time. So we're going to return judge with an array which is choices to map.values. So we get the values from choices. We're going to return the state with. So once we've finished, the state can go back to what it was before, or to a state where we can play. So we can return a state that is choices is an empty map, and state, the status is waiting for players. Okay, and we need to close that. And we need to implement this judge that takes an array of choices. So we can do that under here, fp judge. Now we are going to have two choices when they're the same. Then we do draw. When we have rock and paper, we do paper. When we have rock and scissors, we do rock. When we have paper, and let's sort these. I don't want to have to have the same option multiple times. So enum.sort, which means PQR, paper is going to be first. Paper, rock, paper, scissors, scissors wins, rock, uh, scissors, do, rock wins. So we have paper, rock, paper, scissors, rock and scissors. Is there any other combination that we care about? They're all going to break down to these, right? Because they're the only way that one of those wins. Okay, so we are slightly over time, but let's see if we can actually check this game out. Bob joined. Let's join as Ed. Yep. And then we are going to, Bob's going to play rock. Ed's going to play English rock. And then let's add a new one here. Game.judge. Oh. It's a draw. Right. Ever so slightly over time, but we have our first multiplayer implementation of the game. Thanks a lot. Catch you next time. Bye.